Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's #1, #2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
WTF, What's the Focus podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. Creation tools allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great. They'll even distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Download the Anchor app today or go to anchor.fm to get started.
What's the focus? Pop culture, movies, and TV news. What's the focus? What's the focus?
You're awful! The preceding joke was brought to you by Men. We don't know what we did.
Good morning, everybody. This is WTF, What is the Focus podcast. I am your one and only host, still as of right now, Ryan Kerrigan. This is episode 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's always exciting to actually have some available time to sit down and really go over what I'm thinking, theories, just breakdowns of trailers, just having a lot of fun with whatever we can kind of, get going. So anyway, a little late to the game this week with the new release of the in-game trailer breakdown, but I do think I have a few different outlooks on certain scenes from other podcasts I've listened to. I just have other theories. I have other thoughts about what's going to happen and what we are and what we're not going to see. There's a couple theories out there from other podcasts. I listen to Pop Culture Leftovers, which is an amazing podcast in my opinion. Marvel Movie News, another great one. They had so many good theories, and I'm right on board with a lot of them, and I'm going to brush up on a couple that they actually touched up on, and we'll just go from there. So starting off with the in-game trailer, super exciting. We're coming up on just a month away from the big release. I'm just waiting on pins and needles for ticket release. I have my Fandango fan alert ready to go, so hoping to get those tickets as soon as they come out, as I'm sure everybody else is. So anyway, let's just jump right into it. We're going to start off just like the last trailer, and it's going to have those really, really grim, gray scenes of the team getting dusted, with, of course, the little flares of red that you see on certain things. So anyway, going right into it, it's going to start off with our boy, Tony Stark, speaking really about how he became Iron Man. And he references saying, in Iron Man 1, when I got out of that cave, that's the moment I became Iron Man. And you see him on the Benatar again, a little zoomed out video of him in the Benatar, and he states in that one, no more surprises, but was really helping to pull off one last one. Now, a lot of people are thinking this is his message that we've seen in the last trailer to Pepper Potts, his what we can only assume to be fiancé, and that's kind of why I bring this up and I'm referencing it. I'm actually thinking that this is kind of a misdirect. I'm thinking that his message to Pepper Potts, he does leave something, and I'm sure it's very heartfelt, but I'm guessing this one where he actually says, I said no surprises, I'm thinking we're actually going to get a cutscene of him proposing to Pepper Potts. And that would be the scene from Spider-Man Homecoming where they went into the conference room, Happy throws him the ring, and then that's all we see. So I think they're going to pull on our heartstrings just a little bit more, just like they like to do, and I think that might be something that we actually see come into play. Next person that we're actually going to hear is Peggy Carter. Oh, Peggy. She's actually talking through also flashback scenes of now Steve Rogers. First scene of him being before pre-Captain America. and you see him looking into the army poster. And then they cut, still Peggy in the background, but they cut to her funeral, and you see him carrying her casket, which is always a sad part. Before that, though, I'm sorry, I think I jumped a little ahead. They had a couple little cutscenes, and one of them is Hawkeye, which is now made to believe that his persona is now Ronin. It looks like there's a little bit of flip-flopping, but I don't know if that's because it's a time jump or if he kind of just went one way and the other, or I don't know what's going on with that. But we see Hawkeye, and he seems to be sharing a sweet moment with Black Widow as they hold hands. Some people think that Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow in this scene is giving off kind of a romantic vibe. I don't think that's happening at all. When you look at what has actually happened to Hawkeye, and I'm assuming by this point they have the team has a pretty good idea what did happen, and I'm guessing Hawkeye's now been by himself, made to believe, for at least 6 months, I think. To where he's now became this assassin, killing bad guys in Japan. And I think he's been very lonely. And I think all this is really just a warm embrace between friends. Maybe even the embrace he needs to kind of get him mentally, thinking like he used to, and a little bit of humanity kind of coming back to him a little. Which maybe is exactly what he needed in order to, mentally be able to come back and be with the team. Anyway, enough of that. The next scene, we're going to actually start to go over to Asgard, and R.I.P. Asgard, but we see a couple of the pillars within the gray scenes, and that you see a little flag. I believe that is a red flag, so it's keeping up with the red for the symbolism. And then all of a sudden we get Odin, and we see young Thor, and again the red cape is what's coming through on there, and we see Odin embrace his son, putting his hand on his shoulder. Another sweet moment. And then you hear Thor in the background, and he's stating that he saw all of his people die. And of course, while he's seeing this, he's seeing his teammates in Wakanda become dusted. Another heartfelt moment. We can all attest that all these trailers are not happy trailers. I mean, they are still very much pushing the point that, we lost. And I think that's unique to a trailer. I mean, the Russo brothers have revolutionized the way that they actually make movie trailers these days. And it used to be a huge problem for me, and I used to get super frustrated because the worst thing that you can do is give too much away in a trailer. And I don't know anybody who can watch all the trailers that have now been released. So I think, 2 full trailers and a TV promo that has given literally nothing away. I mean, for the longest time, things were stated that the only scenes we were seeing were from the first 15 to 20 minutes of a 3-hour cut movie. We know nothing. So again, this is all speculation and fun, but it's going to be very, very interesting to see, what actually comes out of this movie. They have a lot to fit in within a 3-hour span, a lot of open doors that they need to close. So it is going to be fun. Anyway, finally, in the next scene, we are going to be able to cut to Scott Lang, a.k.a. Ant-Man, who seems to be standing in front of his ex-wife and daughters and his cop buddy's house. This scene's interesting. So obviously Scott Lang has made it now out of the quantum realm. Again, not knowing how he actually did that, whether or not he, got himself into a time vortex and popped out in a certain location, or he was just able to figure it out, or how that actually goes about. I'm hoping that, and I listened to a podcast and it made me laugh because I'm hoping maybe he just finally figures it out, like there's some kind of fail-safe, like you would think from, everything that happened where somebody can be stuck in there for 30 plus years, like the next thing that they would do is be like, oh, well, that will never happen again because I made this fail-safe before somebody re-enters the quantum realm. So I'm hoping that maybe it's not as lame as just like reverse here I am. But I'm hoping eventually, once he learns some things and absorbs some information, that he's able to just kind of get out and join and get right into it. There's a lot to cover, so I don't want him stuck in there for too long. Hopefully it's a fast explanation and we get him right away on the big screen. There was such a lack of him, obviously, none of him in Infinity War, but then having his Ant-Man and the Wasp was great. And it's been confirmed that a lot of the characters who were either not in the movie or just didn't get a lot of screen time in Infinity War is going to be made up in this movie. So I expect a lot of Scott Lang. And then just kind of brushing up on that too. So he's in front of his ex-wife's house, and it looks ran down. You can see that the plants are overgrown. Things are looking a little decrepit. And then in front of the house, there's a post, and it has a bunch of missing people signage all wrapped around it. And if you really look at this detail, you can tell this is a while post-snap. The post looks a little ran down. The pictures look a little ran down, a little weathered. So I'm only assuming, and obviously it takes a while for people to actually know that people are gone and make flyers and all that stuff. So we only have to assume, like, again, I'm putting my marker at minimum 6 months. I think it's longer than that, but minimum 6 months is what we're looking at. Let's see. Let's go through the notes. All right. Next exciting scene is going to be Hawkeye, a.k.a. Ronin, and he's running down a hall avoiding a huge explosion. Now, this scene is very interesting, and I'm going to try to kind of describe what I'm thinking in detail without confusing myself and, of course, confusing others. But as he's running down, you see the explosion. He's turning his body, and you can see a glowing light come from his hand. So he is wearing something around his hand, and it has a glowing dot on it. Now, the reason I bring that up is a while back now, there was a couple of pictures that were released, and it showed Captain America in his, I believe, Avengers 1 outfit, or maybe even Captain America 1, I'm not sure, his old outfit, and then it showed Tony Stark, and they're all wearing something around their hand, and it's a white little dot that's around their hand. Now, people are speculating that has something to do, again, with time travel, which I don't doubt. It could be some kind of beacon to find somebody. It could be something you press to open a portal. I mean, it could be anything. I'm not sure. But it's interesting to see him actually wearing something around his hand that is glowing, that looks like that. So I don't know if this is a battle scene within the first little bit of the movie where it's, in a different time, or what the actual deal with that is. But it's kind of exciting to see that those leaked photos are coming to light now, and we're going to finally kind of see what's going on with those. Let's see. Okay, so next we can see now really quick flash scenes. The first one's going to be Rocket the Raccoon hanging out on War Machine. Looks like War Machine guy's repping, some new armor. Looks a little bulkier to me. And it seems like our boy Rocket is repping, in my opinion, the most comic book accurate outfit I've seen thus far in any of the Marvel movies. So you get to see his classic outfit. You get to see his goggles. He's repping the goggles on top of his head. Really, really cool scene. Again, looking like they're getting ready to fight. Obviously, anytime War Machine's helmet is on, it's usually ready to go. So that should be a pretty exciting scene. The next cut is going to be when the cast starts saying whatever it takes. And that's a heartfelt scene and a very powerful scene to me. Obviously, these characters have put everything they have and devoted their lives to protecting the Earth. They weren't able to succeed, obviously, the last time around, and now they're ready to, fix what happened. And it's going to do whatever it takes. So I think that says a lot about our characters throughout the entire 22 films that we've gotten, and it gave me chills. It was very cool. You see an action scene kind of midway through where Ant-Man is shrunken down and he's jumping off the eraser head of a pencil and avoiding, again, another large explosion in an undisclosed area. You see Thor up in the air holding Stormbreaker, lightning coming out of there. Again, kind of a cloudy area. I don't know if that's Wakanda. Wakanda's usually kind of cleared up, in my opinion. But you never know. I don't know really where he is, but again, looking like he's ready to fight, obviously. And then the ending. This ending actually gave me goosebumps. I don't know why. It was such a special scene for me. But it's when everybody's actually walking through together as a team, and they're walking through the Avengers hangar, and they're wearing their quantum suits. Some people not huge fans of the quantum suits. I personally love the fact that they're wearing something that matches them as a team. I've been waiting for that for actually a while to see that, and for me that's very cool. That just brings me so much joy, probably more joy than it needs to, but it does nonetheless. Notice there's no Captain Marvel. I have some theories later on after my break, after this, about where she is and her role in it all, which I am actually borrowing that information from Pop Culture Leftovers, like I said. Okay, welcome back. Maybe just a brief, not even half second for all of you, but just taking a little 20-minute break for myself and taking care of my 10-month-old son who just refuses to go to sleep when you want him to. So anyway, kicking back off to a couple of endgame theories. Again, myself and a couple of friends of mine who are very much into theories and just predictions of what's going to happen. We spent a lot of time just geeking out big time and really just diving into what we think is a plausible could be spoiler. So anyway, again, kind of taking something off of Pop Culture Leftovers, one of the theories that I think actually has to happen is Captain Marvel is such a powerful character. I mean, in the Captain Marvel movie, she can open up her arms and go through some kind of starship looking huge, powerful ship effortlessly. I mean, literally through warmed up butter. She's a hot sizzling knife. I mean, she makes it effortless. So in the movie, I think we're going to see plenty of times where she's going to whoop up on Thanos pretty good, and we're all going to get to see that. And I know that's something a lot of people do want to see, but she's almost too powerful to a point as well. So there has to be a weakness that we just don't know about. And a lot of people are saying, well, maybe the Space Stone, since Thanos, has it on him, since that's where Carol Danvers' powers is derived from, that maybe he can kind of control her power or take it away or something around those lines. Where Pop Culture Leftovers, the host name is Brian, he actually said that a theory of his is, which I think is interesting, is maybe she's actually needed to power up the quantum realm for the rest of the team. Again, there's no backstory to that or any kind of thing to really point in that direction, other than it would make her an important role because she's definitely needed. Her power being this, from the Space Stone, being able to power a quantum realm, bringing that many people into it is maybe what they need. And I really like that because it makes her, like I said, an important character that makes her very, very useful and needed. But she doesn't have to be a part of all the battles because, let's face it, if she was a part of all the battles, it would be one effortless battle. And I think that the audience, the Russo brothers are geniuses, and they know that if it becomes that, then, you can't really get too excited about somebody who's just going to be able to just go through anybody and everybody. So they have to make something to where either her powers, goes away for a while because it's taken away, or she's actually siphoning her powers to actually charge up the quantum realm to where she's needed to do that. And that was his theory, is to charge the quantum realm, and I really, really like that. Now, he was saying kind of more or less like, she's using her power. I like the almost idea of kind of my own spin on that is like what I said. It's kind of siphoning her power to where she's kind of powerless in the outside part of what's going on, but all of it's kind of running into the machine. So, again, that kind of takes her out of being super powerful even in the timeline she's at. Because she's concentrating and letting her power kind of flow through the machine to charge it or, pinpoint a location or whatever we're going to see. But that's my number one theory. I mean, I don't want to dive too much into it. This being my second episode and all, I really just like to, get some feedback and see what people think about it as well. That's the fun part for me. And eventually, once I start going, my plan is to go once a week and start getting people on here and some different guests, which I've already spoke to, which hopefully I'll be getting on shortly. But that's my number one theory. And the reason I bring that one up is, again, she's going to be our most powerful Avenger, to where she's going to, no matter what, be the focus on taking her out first. You always go after the big bad first, and she's our good big bad, if that makes any sense at all. So it'll be very interesting to see what Marvel Studios decides to do with Captain Marvel, kind of taking her away or sending her on a separate mission or taking her powers. It's going to be very awesome to see, and I am very excited. Anyway, like I said, I'm not going to brush up on any more spoilers or any theories actually today, but again, more and more will be coming in later episodes. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I hope you like everything I had to say. Again, I hope to make this a bigger and better show as we go. But for the time being, this is WTF Podcast. Thank you so much for listening.
It's Sizzling Sprint Weekend. This weekend only, switch to Sprint and get $100 via prepaid MasterCard for each new phone you lease. That's right, you'll get $100 for each new phone. The more lines you switch, the more savings you'll get. There's never been a better time to switch. Visit a Sprint store during Sizzling Sprint Weekend, September 6th, 7th, and 8th to learn more. That's September 6th, 7th, and 8th at Sprint. Requires port online registration and 60 days of service before card ships. Card terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Member FDIC.
Dunkin' has a whole new line of handcrafted signature lattes. Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, and Cocoa Mocha. They're so delicious, you'll realize that you've been spending a whole latte time drinking the wrong coffee. So even though you've been together for years, it's time to say goodbye to your ex, Coffee Place. Because you've got a latte love for Dunkin's signature lattes. Sipping is believing with Dunkin's new handcrafted signature lattes, like Blueberry Crisp, Caramel Craze, or Cocoa Mocha. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary. Limited time offer.